I'm going to tell you guys my story first. So it's gonna be a long story, but I'm going to start it when I was in the last year of junior high school. So ever since I was in elementary school, I was really passionate. I'm so passionate about English and foreign languages. Therefore, when I got into high school, I was thinking about should I go to language major or should I go to social science major because I don't think that I'm passionate about natural science and mathematics major. After that, there was a psycho test in the high school, right? Before we got into the real major, before we got into the proper major. So the psycho tests were in like it's so long, like it's almost a day. So I did the test. I did the test, and the result came out, and they recommended me to go to natural science and mathematics major. I didn't know what kind of things they make to consider me capable to be natural science and mathematics major student, but as as I grow up more, as I know more about myself, I think that I'm passionate about no, I'm passionate about natural science and mathematics major because my analyzing skill is above average. I would say that confidently that my analyzing my analyzing skill is above average. So um, actually, I started to learn Korean when I was in the last year of junior high school. So um, I was so stubborn to my parents. No, I gotta go to language major. I gotta go to social science major. But my parents would be like, everyone knows that typical Asian parents, they want us to be better. They want us to be better, and I know it. I know it well because my parents want me to do better. Therefore, they say that no, you have to go to medical college, or you have to go to engineering college, or you have to go to like you guys may know the best the accounting college in Indonesia, but I didn't want to go there because I know that I'm not passionate about that. So um, I asked my mother, "Mom, should I go to language major?" And my mom said, "If you want to language major or social science major besides natural science and mathematics major, you have to pay the school fee by yourself." I'm shocked. I didn't have money. I didn't have money to support my own school, right? Okay. Um, Therefore, okay, I'm going to pursue what you guys want me to do. Therefore, okay, I'm going to spend my 3 years being a natural science and mathematics student, major student. But at the same time, I was learning English and Korean language as well because I know that okay, maybe if I graduate, I have the wider opportunities to go to every major, right? I have the bigger opportunities because I was graduated. I would graduated from natural science and mathematics major. Um, then when I was in the last year high school, I applied for a private university. So I didn't go like the entrance exam for through the invitation or like grade selection to go to university. I I was so stubborn that I'm going to the private university because I did my own research. I went there and I've been doing a lot. I did explore the college, therefore I think that I would like to go there. I think that I would go there. Um, then I got in. I got into the private university in the language, Korean, no, English language and literature major and natural international relations. I know it's super different with with the major I'm majoring right now, the psychology, but yeah, let's go on. Then I was thinking again. I was thinking about what I really want to pursue in my life. Did I really want to go with this? Did I really want to go to be a diplomat? Do I really want to go to graduate from international relations? I asked it to myself. And then I realized that I'm not really into political science. I do not really like politics. Therefore, I think that it's not something I really want to do. Then in the early 2019, I had an eating disorder. So it was a terrible, terrible period for me, terrible pace for me. Like I was fighting the battle by myself. Therefore, I was thinking about. I'm not going to tell you guys the detail of the story, but after that eating disorder, I did self recovery. I didn't go to any treat. I didn't go to any professional. I didn't receive any treatment, and I'm here. I started to change my behavior from scrolling down through social media because we always compare ourselves to others. After that, I always try to read books more. I try to accept myself. I'll try to love myself genuinely. I try to balance my lifestyle because it's the main important thing before you accept yourself. And then I started to realize that no one will ever be able to make me feel loved unless I love myself. So I cannot look for love outside my body because the love I should make me feel is from myself. And then I recovered. I'm fully recovered, and I started to think. Um, I think I'm passionate about psychology because I really want to help people in improving their mental health and quality of living. It's it's abstract, right? Like you can help people in other ways, like maybe because Isla Tenggara has a lot of concerns, but I think it's the way for me um, to contribute myself. And then my parents say to me that no, psychology is not something, it's not the best investment for yourself. Because typical Asian parents, medical school is the best, engineering school is the best. Whereas I didn't have passion in that. So I told my mom, no, I have been through my 3 years in high school with your decision for me to go to a natural science and mathematics major. And now I'm not going to do that anymore. I'm going to pursue what I really want to do. And then my parents say, no, we choose the best for you. We know the best for you. So my parents say that to me, and I was like, no, no, you guys do not understand me. The one who understands me is myself. So you guys cannot say it loud that no, I know my kids well. I know my kids the best. I know my kids best. No, you guys wrong. So I say to my parents that no, I'm going to take the responsibility for what I choose. You don't have to be worried about it because I know what I'm doing and I know what kind of things I have to do to pursue to get to be called a real psychologist. Asian parents do not. So I actually didn't tell the exact reason why I choose psychology because it's really related to my eating disorder because Asian parents do not believe this kind of thing. I believe that my parents do not believe depression is exists as well. So okay, then I actually really even when I got into university and I would say that I have good grades. Even though I have good grades, I still ask myself, what kind of things I have to do. So when I was in the first term of um, college, first term of college, I had good grades, but I was lost. I was lost. I didn't know what kind of things I have to do. Okay, I like psychology, but after that, what should I do? Therefore, I really like forensic. I really like forensic. I read a lot of forensic books, and my parents both me. Even after I chose psychology as my major. Therefore, I started to think that am I passionate about forensic because I really like Sherlock Holmes. I really like Detective Conan. Maybe it's weird, but I learned a lot from them. And then my parents bought me the kind of books. They support my education, but they didn't want me to choose what I want to do. That's my parents. Okay, so I thought that I'm passionate about forensic psychology. Therefore, I think that it's something I really want to do because when I read the psychology books, I'm more interested about um, what kind of behavior that made the criminal did the crimes, not just about like the caliber, the gun. It's not about caliber, gun, the poison, the blood stain. I'm more interested about the behavior between the assessment. I really like how things. Therefore, I think that okay, I'm doing the right thing. I know what I'm doing. I already counted. I know. I literally know what kind of thing I want to pursue. Therefore, if you guys hear me right now, I was so. I was kind of um how to say this in English. I was so nervous actually because I've never told to anyone this kind of things before. I've never told anyone about my eating disorder because it's kind of it's in Asia having mental illness is a shameful thing. But yeah, I'm going to tell, I did tell you guys before. So after all, I want to tell you guys that you have the responsibility for what you choose. Even if you choose is it's because your parents want you to, your parents want you to do your parents want you to do what's the best. They want you to go to medical college and engineering college, but in the end of the day the decision is on you. You have to be responsible for what you choose. And I would like to tell you guys that you are what you choose, not what you well, not, you are what you choose, not what happened to you. And yeah, I think that's all my stories. It's kind of long, so and it's not I didn't convey it in a well instructed manner, but I hope you guys understand what I'm saying because I'm trying my best to convey it in a well instructed manner. So yeah, thank you everyone for hearing my stories.
Okay, give applause for her. Okay, that's what a
Oh,
story, I think. Wow, what
woo.
a story. That's like an heroic story. Wow, through a stress and storm. So, your parents likes to you to go as a doctor maybe or engineer. That's right. Okay. But you choose psychology and that's how you choose how you are. And wow, that's a great story.
Oh,
Thank you.
sir, I'm going to emphasize one thing again. If your parents if your parents think opposite about what you want to choose, the main thing you have to do is be sure to them, like show them that you know what you want to do and what kind of thing you have to do to achieve that dream. So your dreams do not come true. They are true.
Okay, so work for your dreams. You are you, no matter how the other things. Wow, that's great. Okay, now next. Who are next? That's one hell of story. Wow. Okay, who's next?
A atau beta?
Silahkan, silahkan.
Ayo Tessa.
Okay.
Okay.
First of all, I'm sorry if my pronunciation is wrong and incorrect.
Now it's
And I'm
okay.
also still copy a little from what I brought. And this time, the first time, I dare to speak a lot of English in front of people. My name is Tessalonika Bani. I come from Keva Mananu. I choose to study psychology so that I could myself because I had past experience that makes me a different person. When I was in grade 2 high school, I was left alone in home until I graduate from high school. My aunt, who had taken care of me from my childhood, moved to Kupang on the pretext of looking after my old and senior grandparents. My mother owns a shop and tried to distance make my mother's choose to stay in the shop and occasionally comes to home to see how I am. Since childhood, I have been carers for my aunt, so I am so close to my mother. When my aunt moved, this was one thing that hit me. At the time, I could not work at home, cook, and wash clothes. I couldn't. I couldn't be independent at the time. I was really stressed about my situation. I can't be independent yet. I can do everything myself. I never ate in 1 week, just drink water, and it made me lose weight up to 7 or 8 kilograms, and I start getting sick. Because of that, I started to limit myself to other people. I felt that there was on I could trust anymore. I start to be alone at home after school, and the time I spend is only attending KTB. KTB is a kind of spiritual study group. I'm studying and reading books. I came out of the house, just go school every day and go to KTB every Saturday. I'm quite school with other people, but I often tell the hard things I face to my KTB supervisor. My KTB supervisor also often gives me books about motivation, and she has a sister who is a psychologist. There I often tell what I feel, and I get good feedback and make me feel more relieved too. At the time I became interested in psychology. I began to study small things about psychology, such as introvert and extrovert personality, but my mother didn't agree that I chose psychology. My mother wanted me to study dentistry. Even now, my mother still doesn't agree. I had enrolled at Udayana University, majoring in psychology, but did not accept it. And the time I was quite disappointed because I certainly had no reason to continue studying psychology. But when I look for information, Nusa Cendana University, there was a psychology department. I finally registered via SBMPTN without my mother's approval, and finally I accepted. Until now, I still feel at home studying psychology because my expectation about psychology are far different from what I have now. There are many things that I can like about a person development, about children with special needs, about mental health, and many more that can be applied in real life. Although it's difficult to study and read a lot of books, I feel that I got a lot of new knowledge about life, and I study psychology. I want that after I learn a lot from psychology, I can be useful to the people around me. I can be more sensitive to the mental health of others, and I can provide the right motivation for other people who may experience things like me. So far, sharing from me, the reason may be brief and unthinkable, but yeah, that's it. Reason why I interested by and choose psychology. Sorry for my lack of speech and choice of words. Thank you very much.
Okay, give applause, everyone. Wow, that's great. That's also about healing yourself and finding about your purpose in life. At first, you are getting lost and depressed, and then you seek how to heal yourself by learning psychology, and that's a good starting point. And I hope you can also apply that healing for the others around you. Wow, that's great.
Thank you.
We have a little similar story. I also came from that background, and psychology is great, especially for yourself. Okay, thank you,
Thank you.
Kak Tesalonika Pani. Okay, next.
Me.
Anyone else?
Yeah, me.
Uh,
Me. Good.
Okay, sir. Okay.
okay.
First after.
Okay. Please, Kay.
Hello, everybody. I'm pretty sure that
Tell
you
you-
guys already know me, but I want to introduce myself. Okay, my name is Karensi, and first thing first, I want to tell you that actually I don't want to study here in psychology. So here's the story. When I was in high school, I wish that I will study in theology as my dream. I want to be a pastor. So I'm studied at hard, read Bible every day. Like in class, I don't want to learn about math, biology. I don't want to learn about that. I just sit in my chair and read the Bible from Genesis, everything about the Bible, and I share what I read with my friends from another church. So I learned a lot of them. And then I know that my family doesn't want me to study theology because my brother did. So I registered in Artawacana Christian University quietly. And when the time is come to the test, I dare myself to tell my mom. And my mom just like, "Are you really sure?" And I just say, "Why not?" So I passed my test greatly. I mean, like from 500 people, there are just 200 people that lucky to continue the test, and that was I. So I continued the test, medical checkup test, but I didn't pass the medical test. So I'm getting sad. So my mom and I went to the doctor and asked why. Then he said that I got an MAC or ulcer. And that's a little big trouble because if we become a theology student, we will live in the dormitory. So there no one will take care of us there. So I didn't pass it. And then he said that surfing is not about you standing in the rostrum and tell everybody that Jesus loved them, even though you don't know that they hear you or not. But surfing is when you take care of people like Jesus do. So my mom asked me to register in independently test in University of Nusa Cendana and choose psychology because it's a little similar with theology. So, and now I here because not because I failed, but because God want me to be here. So that's all my story. Thank you.
Hey, wow, that's great. Currency is like spiritual motivation. Wow, that's kind of new. Spiritual motivation. I rarely hear about spiritual motivation inside psychology class. So I hope you can become a color that bring us a
Amen.
new wave of color. Okay, thank you, Karensi. Now, who's next?
Anjali, Pak. Anjali,
Saya.
sir.
Anseli,
Anjali,
okay.
sir.
Anseli. Please tell your story, Kak Anseli. Kak Anseli? Ah,
Kancili Mike.
Uh,
Mike.
Mike or got locked out?
Oh, sorry.
Anseli. Okay. Please tell us your story from the beginning, please. We cannot hear.
Before I'm sorry.
It's
I
okay.
forgot to before I'm telling about my story, I will introduce myself. My full name is Anjali Henriquez Martins. You can call me Jenny. I'm from Atambua. So I will tell you before I'm telling about my experience, how can I choose psychology. So I would like to apologize if my words are wrong. So this is my story. When I was in a high school, I was dating a senior who happened to be a graduating. After he graduating, I was still in a second grade school at the time. And after he graduated, we lost contact for about a year. After not chatting for a long time on a sidelines of our chat, he also asking me about the measure I will take. So and I replied that I was still not sure the measure that I will take. After that, he had advised me to measure the engineering planology. So and I casually replied that I won't think about it. So after that, I asked him again, what major did you take? And he answered that psychology major. So after telling a long story and hearing the answer, I was interested and to find out more about psychology. So at the time, I was still confused about whatever that I was interested in finding out because of my curiosity or because he was in a department. So I checked with the first to ask the classmate, and they answered that psychology is the same majors of our counseling tutor who said that he could read other people's mind. By hearing this, I was more interested in finding out in my mind how other people can read other people's minds, whatever they can see or hear what they think and say in our hearts. Because I was still curious that I tried to dig deeper, and I was know that the next is that psychology is the department that studies human and everything related to it, such as the basic things in our life, that how someone can act like this and how someone can show such behavior. And talking about someone behavior, I'm more interested in the talk of criminals, such as how someone can act efficiently so to kill fellow humans, how their personalities happen to cause such action, and many more. The process that I understand here is how to understand other people, how they think, how mental process, and how action arise that we basically cannot understand with our minds. And in the end, that's things that made me interested in psychology. And after I pondered it over and over again, it was not because people I would be interested in majoring in a psychology, but because my deep curiosity about psychology and the desire to deepen it. So my hoping is in the future, what I learn now can be useful for some people in the future. So that's my story about how can I in the psychology. Thank you.
Okay, nice. Thank you. Psychology is not a magic, you know. We cannot read others' mind. Maybe that's how other people think about us. Yeah, we know about that. But actually, we use assessment tools for knowing about others. So we do not use that kind of magical instruments. The That's interesting story. Thank you, Kak Anseli. Okay, last person for today. Next week we use this method again to do our test, and people that do not want to talk about or share about their life, how can they end up in psychology? Maybe they got lost and then finding themselves, oh, now I'm in psychology. Maybe, I don't know. We need to hear your story about that. So people that do not want to share about themselves, they can get the score test from Google Form. You do your work using Google Form, or you can use this method to get your midterm test. Now for the last person for today. Anyone
Saya
will
Kak.
be there?
Elenita, Elenita,
Eleni, okay. Please, Eleni,
Ellen.
Elenita, Ellen. Okay,
Yeah.
please share to us about your story, Kak Ellen.
Hi guys, so before I start to sharing to the sharing session, I would like to sorry if you guys can't hear my voice clearly because I'm literally shaking right now to tell my story about this. And so to be honest, when I was in high school, I never thought that I'm gonna get into psychology in university. Since I was in middle school, I dreamed to get into medical school. When I was in high school, I learned a lot about things related to medical school. I always, when in class, I always learned about biology. Every time I had a free time in high school, I always go to the library to looking for the books about medical school. So I'm really focusing on get into medical school. Every test into university that I took is always I always chose medical school. So when when I was in high school, I told my parents that I want to go to the medical school, but my parents always say yes to me because they told me that I choose what I want to study, but I feel like they're not fully support me. Considered several things, they tell me that they always tell me that I can choose whatever I want, but they never really like support me to go to medical school. So at the time, I feel at the time I was so stressed out, and I don't even learn for my test. So I was just go to the test and took the test, and I didn't even learn, and I end up failed the test. So at the end, I told my parents that I'm gonna took a gap year so I could learn 1 year for getting into the medical school. And my parents didn't agree with that, and they told me to choose one major to just for 1 year while I'm learning to get into medical school. So my brother told me to get into psychology, and I heard that my friends she also going to she also took psychology in university. So I only have two opportunities at a time. So I get into I took psychology in two universities, and I passed in those two universities. One of that is Undana. So my parents told me to just get in Undana while I'm waiting 1 year to learning. And as I got into psychology, I didn't know anything about psychology. All I know is when I'm gonna get into psychology, I'm gonna learn about people behavior and nothing more than that. I don't know, like I know nothing, and I don't know what to tell my parents, like what am I gonna learning in psychology. Like my parents didn't even know about psychology too, so I was just like this is like I don't know, it's just random major that I took. So when I when I started when we started to learn at the first semester as a junior, I looked at the courses that we had at the first semester, and all the courses like developmental psychology, uh, personality psychology. I just read the courses and I got really interested. I don't know why. I feel like, oh my god, this is really amazing. Like this is what I wanted to learn since I was in high school. I always curious about the reason behind people doing something, and so we started to learn, and I started to searching more about psychology. I started to do a research about what we're gonna learn, and I learned a lot about psychology in the first semester to know a lot about this. And then in this year, my friends and my parents told me to take the test for the medical school, and they say that they're gonna fully support me to get into the medical school. But I told them that I don't want to go there anymore. Like I feel like I already found my passion in psychology, and I tried to convince them and tell them because they're not, because my parents didn't know anything about psychology and they don't know what am I. No, but my parents wants, every parents wants their child to be someone that really great one day. And psychology is like a new things here, and my parents didn't know anything about it. So I tried to explain to them like what we learn in psychology, like why am I feel like I found my passion here. So I tried to convince them, and they were like, "Yeah, you choose what you want," and they let me to learn this. And every day, since I was in middle school, even my close friend, they never talk to me about their story. Like they never trust me. They always said like I'm not a trusted person. So when I was get into psychology, some of my close friends, they know that, and they come to me and tell me about their story, like, and they started to open up to me, and I was like, oh my god, why did you guys suddenly open up to me? They said, and they said that because you get into psychology, and I was like, why? And they started to share the story, and I told them what I can, and I helped them a little bit. And when they tell me that they try to they when they told me that they heard what I say, and they started to make a progress in their life and started to know more about mental health, and that is really impressed me, because I can help people. At least I really want to go to medical school to help people with their physical health, and now I didn't get there, and I still can help people with their mental health, which is really good. Um, and people can trust me, which is, it's something that really impressed me, because nobody's never trust me. And yeah, I'm really interested. That's how I get into psychology. That's why I choose psychology, because I feel like I found my passion here. I'm sorry guys if my story is I'm so sorry if my story is not really clear about this. So that's it. Thank you.
Okay, nice. That's great. Uh, you have one inspiring story about how to find your passion here in psychology. And then the one that I have to highlight from your story is we can find happiness when we helping others, you can feel happy, fulfilled. Yeah, that's how you can find happiness inside psychology. And I am touched by your story about how even at first that's a random choice. You say that it's a random choice, but no, after you get in and inside this psychology, even there are many inconvenience, but you can find your passion. That's I like that kind of story. So thank you very much, Kak Elenita. And that's for today. Next week, prepare your for bagi teman-teman yang belum, silahkan mempersiapkan ceritanya. Jadi for you that haven't told your story, please prepare yourself. Siapa saja yang kira-kira bersedia? Ada nggak yang kira-kira bersedia untuk minggu depan? Kalau tidak, ada nggak?
Ada.
Ada Pak, ada.
Ada Pak.
Next week,
Saya mau Pak.
guys. Okay, next week we still open and you can find this video on my channel because I already recorded this, and you can see yourself talking and sharing your stories. I'm not telling you before. It's a surprise for you. So thank you very much. You are beautiful guys. Good job.
Pak, bentar.
Thank you,
Okay, see you
Pak.
next week, everyone.
Pak.
Bye-bye, sir.
Ayo, Bobby. Beta.